Jupiter was supposed to be a star, but it failed. This video is not about planets though. Today, Peep Game and Lock In, because we'll be talking about characters who sort of live up to this trope of all having, I wouldn't say wasted potential. I would just say there was a lot of expectations placed on these characters and they never got the correct chance, the correct opportunity to prove themselves. Not even that. It's just that their situations, they just had a bad hand dealt to them. It's really just that. It was just unfortunate circumstances. We'll be starting off with an honorable mention. We have Junpei from Jujutsu Kaisen. I wasn't I was going to put him as one of the official characters for this, but the more I thought about it, the more it's just like I just don't see the hype. Like when I first think about it, it's okay. Junpei could have ended up being Itadori's Geto in a way. He could have been what Geto was to Gojo, but Junpei sort of like I don't think he would have made it past Shibuya. I don't think he would have made it through the Shibuya incident through his powers. Like we seen one single Shikigami and it was okay, but I don't think it would have carried him to where he needed to be. He would have been like a washed down Megami in a sense. Megami sort of fits that role more, to be honest, considering what's happening to him in the manga. By the way, there will be a manga spoiler for one of these characters on this list. No, it's a My Hero Academia spoiler. So keep that in mind. But we'll get into this. So first off the list, we have Darth Vader. Now, he's really like, oh my God. Because Anakin was a victim to the whole world just placing this sort of force on him that he shouldn't have even had to deal with at such a young age. Being the child of the Force, all of the Jedi and all of the Sith had their eyes on him as he was like the prodigy child. He, whichever side had Anakin on their team, would have been the side to win. That's just how it would be. But because of all that pressure and because the Jedi got their hands on him first, they kind of forced him to grow up too fast. It just wasn't the environment that he needed to be in, especially because Peep. Now I know it was a lot of people in his ear and all of that manipulating him throughout the way, and he had very conflicted opinions because he wasn't able to do what he wanted to do. He wasn't able to feel how he wanted to feel. Like it was just terrible. But even without Palpatine in his ear, his downfall was kind of inevitable because his feelings was always very high. Even from his first moment where he's like, why don't, you're Jedi, why don't you just kill blah, blah, blah? Why don't you just kill him and solve our problem for us? And they're like, we're Jedi, we don't just do that. But Anakin was always more the type of hot-headed person. The Jedi route was just never his route. Whether Palpatine was in his ear or not, he would have eventually had left if it meant he could be with the love of his life or he could be with his mom. He would have always left. That's just how it would have went. So it was sadly inevitable. But it's really interesting because in the Obi-Wan show, he sort of has the line where he's like, I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. And it's like, wow. In a way, you could have been amazing, but I feel like if Qui-Gon was the one to have trained Anakin instead of Obi-Wan, then things would have been much different because even Obi-Wan was sort of, it felt like Obi-Wan didn't really believe in the Jedi ways, but he was still trying to force himself to believe it, and he was trying to force it on Anakin as well, and it just never went well. But that's just for Darth Vader's part. Next, we have Dobby. This is the My Hero Academia part. The thing about Dobby is it's another thing where his emotions kind of got the better of him. But in a way, Endeavor really failed him. Like, no matter the redemption, this is Endeavor's failure right here. This is definitely Endeavor's failure. But even his own quirk, his own body failed him. He had the perfect quirk. He had the strongest flames. And spoilers, well, we'll get to that. He had the strongest flames, but his body wasn't able to keep up with him. And Endeavor still was forcing him to train until Shoto comes around and he tosses him to the side. He basically completely forgets about Dabi. And you could say that he was just trying to make sure that Dabi wasn't hurting himself no more. But in a way, it's like you've made this kid his whole life train for your intentions and you just toss him to the side. This is completely on you. This is directly on you. But you were looking for the half hot, half cold child. And it just so happens that later on in the manga, it is revealed Dabi has the quirk. It's not like he doesn't have it. He awakened it. He has that. He had the genetic. It just needed to be awakened. So now it's like even more of a burn to Endeavor because it's like you should have waited and you should have had belief in your child. But nah, now look at you. Now look at what you've made. You've made a sort of scorn on your family name in the case of Dabi. Next up, we have Portacus D. Ace, my favorite character. Well, one of my favorite characters in One Piece. Ace, another one who fell victim to their emotions. It's a common trope in all of these characters, bro. Ace could have been that guy if he just was chill. If he didn't turn around. The entire war, his entire arc, since his first appearance, they was saying he was supposed to be the chosen one. He was him. He was supposed to be the one that Roger was waiting for. They was literally wiping out every woman that Roger ran into just because they knew if he had that child, that the child would have always been the one to lead the new generation. He would have been the one at the end of One Piece. And if Ace did survive, he definitely would have been there for the One Piece. Whether Luffy is the sun god, so there's no way he wouldn't have ran into it. But Ace would have been there right there with him because he's the sun god and Ace is his flame. It goes hand in hand. There's no way. You shouldn't have had Luffy without Ace and Ace without Luffy. It just should have been perfect. But no, this magma motherfucker wants to come through and he wants to ruin it. And it angers me. He needs to be, he can't get away with it. But nah, bro. Ace had the most filled potential, bro. He should have been the one to take out Kaido, too. He told Yamato he would come back and he would do it. But he was not there. God darn it. That's sad. But yeah, these characters, man. It's just their emotion. They really had the perfect setups. It's just they were given the wrong hand and they wasn't able to completely maintain their emotion. Ace with his daddy issues. Dabi was just, I feel like Dabi sort of had like this sort of disappointment complex on him. But he also had a lot of daddy issues too. And Anakin was just always too much of an emotional child. It was just inevitable. But that's it for this. I just wanted to get that. I'm going to make another one. I'll do Venus next. I really want to talk about Venus. But that'll be it for this little video. Y'all boys stay safe on that.